Well, welcome back to the hangar where I know a lot of you get triggered in the comments by me removing the autopilot, which I'm going to show you here. This is where the servos are, so there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be removing here. But I'm going to show you the turn coordinator that I removed. You can see the chairs here. Obviously, probably the only situation where you can fly in an airplane when it's your own airplane. Wouldn't recommend it, especially in a pressurized airplane, but hey, they're here. Now this one doesn't have the headrests. Maybe they got lost, or maybe the front seats never had them. I think they did. And then here, this plastic work here for magazines. Look at the detail with the, well, detail, let's not exaggerate, but the molded Mustang is kind of cool. I like that. Anyway, and there's only an armrest on the pilot side. I don't know if that was deliberate or an add-on or an afterthought, but only the pilot, because this is the pilot seat and that's the co-pilot seat. They're laying the wrong way around right now. All right, let's get back in the airplane. You can see I've been busy. So this is what it looks like without the seats. I mean, freaking spacious. Anyway. And here we have the cockpit and a lot of wiring, the usual nest. And I've been working on the turn coordinator, and this has been really interesting. So I've pulled off a few tubes, and as you can see, one of them is broken here. I'm trying to pull off the additional tubes. Already labeled, hoses are already labeled for me, so I didn't have to do anything there. Just yanking them out. So victory, I was able to basically disconnect everything. Now I just have to pull it out. Pull it out through this large opening that was for the HSI. All right. Is there anything still attached? Oh, something might still be attached. As you can see, it has an angled bezel. And that was deliberate because, as you can see here, it's calibrated for installation on a vertical panel only. And my panel is not vertical, it's at an angle. So these things are particular. I've had to remove 1, 2, 3, 4 vacuum hoses. Actually 5, there was one there. Disconnect the wire here. But now there's one wire that's still tied to a device down there, which I'm going to be removing here shortly. As you can see here, I've got the gyroscopic rate of turn indicator with a mouthful, model TC100, and it has this knob here, this trim knob, and that's what you would use to trim right or trim left. It was the roll trim. Whereas here, we have the rudder trim. Now on the Mooney Mustang, because it was pressurized, I guess, but maybe not, but basically because they're using this PC stabilization, the rudder trim is actually actuated by the rubber servo in the tail section. And so here, what you'll be able to see underneath here is that behind it, it has the vacuum tubes. Green, black, and red. Black is supply, green is pulling it one way, red is pulling it the other. And then a few connection wires here. I'm not sure what this device does here, but I had to remove it also. Let's see what it says. Sorry, input. I don't understand. Input 14 volts. Yeah, I don't understand either. And so this is something to do with the turn coordinator as it powers the turn coordinator, the 14 volt supply. Not sure what this is. This little device here looks like some kind of a die, something that I could remove. So let's try and do that. Oh, yeah, so they obviously wanted to protect this. Not sure why that would be made to be removable like that. Maybe so you can adjust it, perhaps. Anyway, that's the back side of the turn coordinator, and it has multiple lines, vacuum lines. I can count 5. I'm not into the whole steampunk thing, so you know, when you have the option of making things lighter, and this is pretty heavy, solid state, which are super reliable, and getting rid of all these hoses and everything, and potentially getting rid of the vacuum pump, then why not, right? Why not? So let's do that. The other thing I'm working on is this is actually, like on some Cessnas, older Cessnas, is on some rubber supports, and it's designed to dampen the vibration that you get from the engine and the airframe. And it was to protect all the gyroscopic instruments and, HSI and the attitude indicator. They're all gyroscopic. And they're probably pretty old. And in order to preserve them, what they did is they mounted them on these rubber gasket there. And there's 4 attachment points, which I have to unscrew. I just have to find the right screwdriver that reaches. And this will be coming out. And then basically in the reinstall, we'll just have a panel that's just seated on top of the frame. It will be solid state, so it won't care about the vibration as much. And it will be easier to install. So this coming out will create a lot of room, so that will be nice. This is interesting. This is connected to the yellow hose, and the yellow hose, presumably, from what I could see in the back, is from the elevator. So you pull on, pull down, and it's something to do with pitch. So presumably, either it would disconnect or activate pitch leveling control, possibly. Well, after a lot of contortioning, and maybe there's a joke there, contortionists and avionics technicians, but I managed to get to the wire, unhook this one here, and then basically, I don't know if I can see it anymore, but there's a black one here. Is it this one? Anyway, that's in some shielding that I was able, a red one that I was able to disconnect. And now I should be able to pull the whole thing out. Let's see if it wants to come. Yep. All right. So this was the power supply to the turn coordinator, and for some reason it needed its own auxiliary box here. This I had to cut, and it had already been spliced, so obviously they had either replaced the power supply somehow. And let's see if there's a date on here. Tested 1980. So 1980 is after 1969. So February, so obviously it failed. Well, anyway, I'm removing 4 pounds. I can see that for 3.9 pounds being removed here. I think so, that's what it says. Anyway, so another piece of the puzzle is being removed. All right, join the club. And you can see here, there's the arrow. And we're removing all the vacuum stuff. Anything to do with the vacuum system, we're removing. Unless it's linked to pressurizing the vessel. We'll get into that in a different episode. I was also told I can remove this, since this was connected to the autopilot. So let's do this next. All right, so I removed one screw already. Let's remove this one down here. Okay. It was the ground from the unit itself. Okay, that makes sense. So if I remove everything, won't need it. Let's disconnect it as well. Oh. And I'm going to disconnect this connector here. That should be fairly straightforward. Yep, it was. So this wire is for the autopilot. This wire is strapped in and goes here and here, and I think we can remove all of that. But yeah, 2 wires coming out, going here, and then going into the back but do they splice? Ah, interesting. They may very well splice, so I'll be tracing that. Stand by. So I've done a little bit more. Got the wire all the way out. Got this device, which is the power supply, I guess. Let's see what it says. If I can squeeze it out of its enclosure here. Yeah, I think it's a power supply. Yep, power supply. Almost a pound from Britain Industries, 14 volt. Okay, good. And they must have made this bracket for this. So this is part of the Autopilot, and I've traced the cables back. One disappears into a nest of cables, and there's a second one that disappears to the left. And if I trace that one, it might go to the turn coordinator. Let's check. And it goes down here, going left, going left. Oh, and something here. Where does that go? Does that go anywhere? A lot of stuff going on here. Oh, I love removing stuff. I just got to be careful I don't remove things that will be useful. Ooh, I could disconnect that. All right. It has a quick disconnect, old style. And I was able to remove that. Ah. One-handed removing of connectors, so you can see that. So I've removed a lot more zip ties. And I didn't know what the right tool was for it, so I'm using some aluminum shears with pointy nose bits, and it's working like a charm. So if you're wondering what to use to undo zip ties, use these type of shears, and it does the trick. Voila! That's how easy it is with some shears. There's probably another tool out there that you guys are gonna recommend. So now I think we're clear and we can get this cable out. What, is it catching on something? All right, another 50-year-old zip tie. Lasted pretty long. I didn't know zip ties were that old. Woohoo! Got that out. All right, now we're going to trace this one to see if there's a quick disconnect somewhere down the line that would avoid having to cut it. But it goes to the left, goes into this nest of wires here, one of them anyway, and then further to the left. Over here, if it's the Autopilot, it wouldn't go to the COM, so that gray one isn't it. And so I'm trying to figure out if the KPI 550, the HSI, using ChatGPT of course, here in the hangar, connects directly to the Autopilot, the Britain. And so the analog HSI, how a Britain Autopilot expects signals, left, right, from a CDI or HSI to steer the aircraft. So the Autopilot isn't talking to the navigator, it just sees the left or right deviation. Okay, so can a KPI be used with a Britain? Yes, in a basic sense, but not as a direct data link. Is wired so its CDI, VOR, and deviation voltage feed the Britain Autopilot. So there is a cable that goes from the HSI to the Autopilot. And so that's the remaining gray cable for me to remove the Autopilot is connected to the HSI connector. And you can see the HSI here, an old KPI 550. Anyway, this connector has 3 gray cables going into it that you can see here. It's a massive connector, lots of wires. and you can see behind it. But then there was another one here, and that was the turn coordinator. And I'm thinking the turn coordinator is the one that's connected. All right. Well, it was easier than I thought. I started taking off a few zip ties and I found a quick disconnect here. And so I don't know why and where this goes, but it starts going a bit all over the place. And this came off the Autopilot, so I'll have to label that as an Autopilot cable of some sort. So at least I've got everything on video. That's good. Even if I don't put it on YouTube, I've got plenty of video which I archive of me doing this stuff that I can retrieve. All right. Oh, so that quick disconnect. Where does that stuff go now? Who knows? Was it power to the unit? It's possible. Anyway, so that means that I've successfully taken the power supply. Well, it's obviously power, right? But I've successfully removed the power supply from the Autopilot. And so if that was the power supply and it was connected with one cable, that means that this is the power supply to the Autopilot, which I will label. And presumably it could power supply something else. There's definitely more going on here. Oh, I see what they did. I think that was the power supply to it. And this is supply, and they spliced it. These cables look newer. And these cables are tying into something else here. What was this? Panel lights. Ah, okay. So they tapped into the Autopilot's power supply for panel lighting. Interesting. Autopilot. So Autopilot was on a 2 amp circuit, and my guess is the light. Oh no, that's a lighter. But the instrument lamps should have been on their own. But they have the Autopilot wired in here with some instrument panel lights, the little ones here with the little lamps, which we won't need. So I think I can cut here and remove the wiring from the panel. Surprised that's the way it is. Was that done at the factory? Or did they redo that later on? It looks like it was redone later on. Yeah. So somewhere along the line they just decided to tap into the power supply of the Autopilot. That makes perfect sense, right? Just go for the closest thing. But anyway. Now who cares? All right. I'll have another video out for you shortly, so please click and subscribe.